the stories, the journey, the wild behind the scenes, and much more. I'm Dave Anthony, and I'm the host of From Garage to Stadiums.
If that was the low point, then perhaps Live Aid 1985. Now, let me give a little context for Live Aid to the younger fans. This was organized in 1985 by Bob Geldof, or Sir Bob Geldof, as he's known now, and Midge Ure of Ultravox. They were planning to raise funds for a massive famine issue that was in Ethiopia at the time. And the performers who performed that day to a global audience included Bob Dylan, Led Zeppelin, The Cars, David Bowie, Diana Ross, Elton John, Paul McCartney, The Police, U2, The Who, and the folks we're talking about today, Queen. Mark, you and I saw that concert, and I saw it live when it happened. And like many others, rock critics, other musicians, we think that may have been the best live performance of all time, that one day that Queen played.
I think that.
What did you?
Yeah, I mean, I do remember watching it. I watched it on a TV in a pub, and then I moved to a friend's apartment. I was watching it there. I can't remember where I was in the pub when I saw Queen. It was fantastic. They did a magnificent show because they were bringing a little bit of old school showbiz to the proceedings. They did a medley of songs. Most people, if people forget this, some people came on, they played the new single. That's great if the single was a hit. But in Queen's case, I think they crammed about half a dozen songs into 17 minutes. They rehearsed it to the nth degree. They timed, They knew they had 17 minutes. And if it went over 17 minutes, the power would get pulled. So they timed it. They rehearsed at a little theatre in London and they timed it. And you could tell that when they went out on stage. So you sort of got the absolute essence of Queen and Freddie Mercury. He's showboating on stage. From the minute he walks on stage, he's working the audience. It's an absolute masterclass. It's very funny as well, because if you look at some of the other bands on there, they take themselves so seriously. They really do. And the one thing I have to say in defense of Freddie Mercury, he didn't take himself seriously. At one point, he runs out of moves and he just bends over and presents his ass to the audience. You go and look at it. It's true. He just bends over. It's like I've done every choreographed move in the locker.
In the lead singer's guidebook, yeah.
Here's my ass. That's literally, that's it. And it's magnificent. And everybody was talking about it, and their records went back into the chart. And of course, it's a renaissance for them. Everyone suddenly forgets about South Africa.
Yeah, right. Because then they ended up playing Wembley a couple times after that.
That's right. And that shows, I saw those shows. I saw the show at Wembley, the one that's in the film that's often, I was in the audience for that. Yeah.
Is that the one where he comes out with the crown?
That's the one. You can see me in the audience. I'm the one with a lot of hair. Yeah.
Yes, one of 75,000 people there. Yeah, I think we saw you. Yeah,
of course.
What was I going to say about that? Was nobody works an audience like Freddie Mercury. He's got to be up there with the best.
Yeah, I think so. And there's no one else quite like him, because of course it's not. You've got Roger Daltrey and Robert Plant, who, like you said earlier, these kind of macho kind of front men. They're very masculine kind of front men. There's sort of elements of kind of total showbiz diva with Freddie Mercury, like you said, coming out with the ermine on and the crown. It's very camp. Yeah. It's very camp. It's music hall vaudeville, as you would say in America. There's a lot of elements of that. It's very self-deprecating a lot of the time as well.
Do you think he's got a bit of Mick Jagger, a bit of Bowie,
a bit of Bowie, a bit of Robert Plant in there, but it's all Freddie Mercury. I mean, guys that knew him when he was playing in pubs in his band before Queen said that he would have the mic stand and drop to his knees and in front of their guitarist, the same way he did at Wembley Stadium with Brian May. Yeah. During Hammer to Fall, he starts pulling these poses. They said he was doing it in a pub to two men and a dog. Yeah. He didn't care that there was no audience. That's who he was. That's what he was doing.
Something you can share at a cocktail party is the reason he played that air guitar on that mic stand is the mic stand broke in one of his early performances.
It did. That's right. Apparently,
it became his trademark.
Became the thing. So they say. Yeah.
So let's get into. I guess we're nearing the end here, because we're going to get into Mark. Freddie is obviously diagnosed with AIDS, and they release an album in 1989. Of course, he keeps it secret. The public doesn't know, but Miracle comes out. It's got a really good tune on it. I Want It All.
Mm.
And um, they keep it secret. And of course, his health declines. What do you think sort of this does? The band just kind of goes quiet for a while,
Well,
does it
I
not?
think that decision to keep quiet about his health was done very much. He was a very private person anyway, and he never ever spoke out about gay issues or anything like that. He never spoke about his race. He never spoke about his sexuality. Everything was private. I think he
Uh-huh.
did it because there was such a huge stigma around HIV and AIDS at that time. I mean, this is the thing. Had he lived a little bit longer, the chemistry caught up, the medicine caught up, and it could have potentially prolonged his life or even saved his life. But at that time, there was this huge stigma. He didn't want the members of the band or their families to be stigmatized because of this. This was the excuse he was given. Now, obviously, it's tricky because in the film of Bohemian Rhapsody, he's diagnosed with AIDS before he plays Live Aid. And this is this sort of triumphant thing. That wasn't the case at all. And that's the area where the fiction, I think, sometimes you worry it takes over from the fact. The fact is, he didn't tell anyone. He may have known he was HIV positive at Live Aid. I don't know. He
Yeah.
may certainly have known, I think, by the time of those last Queen performances in '86, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know. But it put enormous pressure on Brian May and Roger Taylor to keep making excuses as to why Queen wouldn't tour. So they sign a new record deal, a massive record deal in America. It has to be said. They got an enormous amount of money for the Miracle and, what came after that with Innuendo. But they had no intention of touring because the lead singer the story was he didn't fancy it. So I think it put enormous pressure on the others. It really did to keep his secret.
Was there any hits on that Innuendo album, or was
Yeah,
it
there was
kind
the
of
one
a
called Innuendo was a hit over here in the UK. I mean, there was other ones, wasn't
okay?
there? I think they were hits here. I think I'm Going Slightly Mad. That was on that album, I believe.
Yeah.
If it's not, it's on the Miracle. Again, someone will tell you, and we'll be showing up for the charlatans.